The 60s introduced individuality to American fashion and an emphasis on youth rather than sophistication. I think of Twiggy, who was an idol of mine, Jean Shrimpton. I think of some unattractive images of the Vietnam War, and then the wonderful rock and roll images, the Beatles, the Stones, Woodstock. Music was very influential on fashion. Rock stars became style icons. The youthquake was about the baby boom and suddenly people under the age of 20 having power, influence, purchasing power, and everyone old wanted to be young instead of everyone young wanting to be grown up. Glamour returned in the 70s with the disco era. Things had gotten very casual, very undone and unkempt, and with Studio 54 and Halston, suddenly people were looking back at the movies of the 1930s, and glamour returned, but in a less elitist way. It was magical, it was chaotic, it was brilliant, it was scary, it was glamorous. If I were my mother, I would not have allowed my daughter to go there. I loved the tight pants with the high heels, and I loved the satin bias cut dresses that were sort of referring to the dresses of the 30s, Jean Harlow, Hollywood, silver screen images. Clothes that you could dance well in, that moved beautifully as you danced. It brought to women a uniform, which is something that men always had, but women never did. The equivalent of a man's suit, but feminized. I think it was a sort of scared thing, women sort of dressing like men in order to act like men. I think it suppressed a lot of femininity and also made men forget to be gentlemen sometimes because women were determined to act and be like men. I think we lost our tender side, women did, at that time, and we've regained it, I hope. The American classics are sweatshirts, blue jeans, blue jeans, blue jeans, sneakers, polo shirts, t-shirts. This is what has become the uniform of the globe. It's the global look, the American look. Baseball caps, anything sportswear. I think that was, again, about identifiable articles of clothing. You could get something by a status name without spending the whole huge amount of money that you would have to spend on a full outfit. It's like getting a perfume, a small little piece of the glamorous pie of a fashion designer. Accessories are also easy to buy because you don't have to try them on. I mean, you don't have to look at your body. A purse, a pair of shoes, a glove, jewelry, very simple to put on without confronting any body issues. America is really the leader of fashion right now. The whole world is dressing like Americans, for better or for worse. It's become more casual, more sporty, there's more freedom, there's more movement in the clothes people wear. That's all the American sportswear influence. I am waiting for the recycling of every era of the past to disappear. It's time we face the future without fear and stop looking back, especially at the 70s. There might be wonderful things ahead of us, and we should be dressing for what lies ahead, not what has already gone by.